All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Replace Your Income with Kevin and
Steve. Kev, it has been a while. What is going on, man?
It has been a while. In fact, I've aged a decade. So it's been 10 years since we did. No, it's not been that long, but it does feel like it's been a long time. But it is so good to be back, man. We just had an incredible weekend, and that we kind of made a commitment to everybody at an event that we did here that this podcast is coming back full force. We did a book signing. It was cool. We had people coming up saying, hey, I've listened to you guys for a long time, and it's cool to finally get a book. And so we were like, all right, let's do a recap of what happened this weekend. Let's get everybody up to speed. We got some really cool and exciting announcements, and it is go time. Replace Your Income is back.
Absolutely. Like the event itself was just fun to reconnect with everybody and to, we talk about people all the time. In fact, I saw the Nakaratos and I was like, you guys are legendary around here. And it's been so long since I've seen you in person. It's like, it's so good to see you and to be able to connect and have that community once again. It's been over 5 years, Kev, since we had an event like this where we really invited all of our clients to in person. And we had such a great group of people and such a great crowd, both in terms of quality of people and just size of the crowd is fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. And what was cool is we used to so back in the day, we used to do these events that we called real estate intensives, and we would do them every couple months. And we even would go on the road. We even took the show on the road. I know because I remember doing a real estate intensive in Arizona, in Las Vegas, in Florida, in New York. I'm trying to think, there might be another one or two, but we used to take these things on the road. And of course, we would do a bunch of them here in Utah. And they were always awesome because it always gave everybody an opportunity to do two things. One was to be fully immersed in this idea of income replacement, of economic independence, of getting 10 properties, of done-for-you real estate and Moneyball real estate and everything that kind of, that belongs to. And then it would give people the ability to connect with us and with each other. And that connection was always so powerful. And it's time to rebuild that community, that feeling of community. The community has existed, but to be able to gather together frequently and to build that feeling of community, to break bread together, to look at each other across the table and talk about what's happening in our game plans and in our lives. That is something really cool, and it was really fun.
Well, when you get together with like-minded people who have similar goals, similar values, there's something powerful. The energy, individuals walk away more recommitted, more energized to really execute on their game plans. And Kev, the one thing that all human beings have in common?
No.
We all forget really quickly.
Okay, I was trying to think of something witty and it did not come.
We all forget really, really quickly. Even when we have the best intentions, we have these goals, we have this game plan, we get started on things, we get going. And especially in the world of real estate, especially the way we do it, where it's kind of like, hurry up, take your time. You hurry up and you get that first property, you get your first couple of properties. And then literally it's 5 to 7 years before you rinse and repeat. That's a lot of time to be sitting back. And during that time, a lot of things change and opportunities come up and you could accelerate your game plan. But when you're not immersed in it and you're not thinking about it, we forget. And we forget about what we're really trying to achieve. In fact, I had one of our clients ask me just last week. He's I was on a call with him. He's like, Steve, and he owns a lot of property. And he's like, Steve, remind me why I'm doing this again. And so we had a great conversation. And I was like, you just need to come to the intensive because that will remind you in a very powerful way. So I'm super excited that we've got these back on track, that we finally held this first intensive again, and that it was, such a great success.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you said that all humans have one thing in common, and I can't wait to find out what it is. What was it? I'm just kidding. It was, you said that we forget.
I already forgot. What did I say?
Everybody listening's like, huh? No, dude, it was awesome. And we not only did we hold the intensive, and we did it on a Friday and a Saturday, but we also had the pre-release party, the first ever hardback dust jacket wrapped copies of our book that we've been working on for 93 years, Micro Wins to Millions. went out the door, and we had people lined up to get copies of the book. We were able to sign books and talk to some folks that were here and some others that came that weren't at the event, but I had said, hey, listen, first 100 copies, come and get them for free. And that was, I don't know how you felt, but that also for me just felt like, a bit of a long time coming, right? That we're finally giving this book to folks and that they finally have it in their hands. I got to tell you, look, we've been working on this for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time, and we've been excited for a long time. And I put a little post when we got the hardbacks that your daughter went and picked up, by the way, because our printer was running behind schedule. So your daughter drove to Vegas to get them here for the event. Thank you, Laura. But what was awesome is having that book in hand. I was able to take a picture and I posted it on social media. And it was one of the biggest posts that I've had in a long time. People were so excited for us and wanted a copy of that book. But that pales in comparison to the cooler thing that happened last night. So last night, yesterday we went and visited my parents, and my dad was at the event, so he took a book home. And my son, Brody, my 10-year-old, knows that I wrote a story in there about him and his soccer team. Now, I don't call him by name, but I write about him. And it was the first time that he'd seen the book. We're at my parents' house, and he goes and he grabs the book right away. He goes, Dad, where's the story about me? Like he knew he was in the book. And so I found him the story. I read him the story, and he thought that was really cool. And then later that night, we're back home, and we're getting ready for bed. And he sometimes will listen to like a book, like an audio book, right? Like off of a little Alexa. Like he's listened to my other book, Flip the Gratitude Switch, and my son's listened to cool stuff like How to Win Friends and Influence People and just like awesome stuff. And he has a little like T-Mobile sync up watch so he can call us, and that charges next to his bed. He can't do anything on it except like text and call. And so he called and wondered why. He's like, Dad, the Alexa's not working. I keep telling it to play Micro Wins to Millions, and it's not working. I was like, that's because we don't have the audiobook done yet, buddy. But I was like, how cool is it that my 10-year-old wants to listen to our book as he's going to sleep? And for me, it was like as awesome as it was to have everybody here grabbing those books and coming and visiting and leaving with them. That for me, Steve, is really why we do this. It was just, I don't know, it was kind of neat.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool story, Kev. It's pretty phenomenal when your family gets behind, especially your kids, when they get excited about something that's a big accomplishment in your life, because we always get excited about our kids and their accomplishments. But when the reverse happens and they're like so congratulatory at such a young age as well, just 10 years old, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
no, it was pretty cool. So we had this awesome event, and here we need everybody to understand that event culture is back at Done For You Real Estate. Like, this is not a one-time occurrence, Steve. We are going to be holding quarterly events. For now, for the foreseeable future, the live attendees will be able to come to our office. We cleared out the whole middle of our office. We could talk about why that happened in order to do the event. And then we had a bunch of people online as well. But we are going to be holding these every single quarter.
And Kev, I got to share this real quick. So one of our clients, and I'll call out his name. I'll just give the first name, Paul. You know who you are, Paul. I was like, hey, are you coming to the intensive? He's like, hey, like, I've already drunk the Kool-Aid. Like, I'm in. I'm like, I'm buying another home like this week. And I'm like, Paul, like, you got to come to the event. Like, we're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff, and the opportunity to kind of, commingle or mingle with other like-minded people, and the opportunity to get to gather and to be reminded and to look at strategies, because we dove deep into some pretty cool strategies, all the way from cost segregation to bonus depreciation to, becoming a real estate professional, to tax strategies, to some other strategies that can really enhance your investing experience and increase your profitability in a massive way. We introduced a whole new concept. It's like, that's why you got to come, even if you've been a long time customer and you love us. And it's like, you don't need to, like, it wasn't a sales pitch.
No.
Like, we didn't sell a single thing, including our book. We gave that away.
Give it away, yeah.
Anyways, I was like, Paul, this is why you want to come, even though you're a longtime client, even though you're fully engaged. it's just an opportunity to take things to a whole new level.
Well, and I'll tell you what, we had clients that were there that used to come to the intensives that have literally been with us for a decade. And some of them were standing up and talking about their story and what they've accomplished. And it is absolutely incredible. But I'll tell you, in our experience, Steve, knowing that we used to do intensives, knowing that they're coming back, I think bar none, our clients that have done the most real estate consistently over years to grow their portfolio are people that come to these events, because not because the event by itself is like giving them something extra that they can't get from us a different way, but when you put yourself in the room, when you allow yourself, and I mentioned this to the audience, there's something really spectacular about when you allow yourself to be immersed in an idea, in a concept, especially when you're in the room with the folks that are helping you sort of put it into practice. It is an environment. It is literally an action-taking petri dish. Like it just grows. The desire to do it, the desire to move forward. Because one of the things that we talked about is there is an actual real-time literal cost, like a real dollar expense cost to doing nothing. And one of the big highlights that we talked about at the intensive was precisely what's happening right now. We always say that now's a good time to buy, but we're literally like, we are looking at something that is knocking at the door that may be an all-timer, just given the current situation that we're in. So let's maybe talk just about that briefly. So for those of you that weren't at the intensive and didn't get a chance to hear about that, and even those that were, as a reminder, what is happening right now, and this is part of why we felt so compelled to bring intensives back and to be with people so that they will take action, so that it's not costing them literal dollars by sitting by and sort of comfortably coasting through their portfolio.
Yeah. So recently, if you know, for those who are listening today, interest rates have dropped a little bit in the last few weeks, and that's on word that the Fed is going to drop their rate in September. And when they drop their rates in September, you know, there will probably be some additional moves. Interest rates are being baked into that anticipation right now. They're being baked into the market, but things will continue to go down. And I'm going to make a suggestion that seems totally counterintuitive. You just might miss the boat if you wait for those lower interest rates.
Yes.
Like what real estate investor would suggest to other investors, you need to hurry and invest before rates drop.
Yeah.
That's a crazy statement.
Right.
If the market wasn't so crazy right now, if there weren't literally a shortage of properties to the tune of over 7 million homes. The moment that interest rates drop, there's something that's going to happen that we experienced in the past recently, which every single home that was being purchased, whether it was an investment property, a primary residence, it didn't matter. They were selling for more than asking price.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to have the same kind of frenzy, because I don't think interest rates are going to drop as low as they did before.
Yeah, right.
But even small drops in the interest rate right now is already producing the effect of multiple offers. We have a client just this weekend. He was at the event. He made an offer on a property during the event in one of our markets, and he was in a multiple offer situation. Like it's already happening,
Yeah.
Kev. And so before that frenzy happens, like you can always refinance to a lower rate if rates just go crazy and really drop, but you can't go back in time and get it at a lower price point.
Right.
And that initial equity that you could build into the property right now is the thing that takes time. And the fact that homes could increase by thousands of dollars in the course of, you know, the next few months,
Right.
is pretty dramatic. And so that's why, you know, I'm saying it's like, even though it's counterintuitive, you might want to try and get into a property before you can get a lower rate.
Yeah, 100%. It's like if Apple was coming out with the iPad and they had a handful of the first batch that they did, and they said, hey, look, we want a tester. We want you to go and we're going to give you this iPad for $200 because we know that once we launch it to the public, it's going to be $700. Wouldn't you buy the iPad for $200? That is kind of what we're seeing here. There's an opportunity right now. And look, we know that demand has been pent up for a long time. We know that there are still a lot of people that are sitting on the sideline not purchasing primary residences because they've been scared off by the interest rates. And that's one thing that everybody needs to understand. We're not just talking about it as investors, right? A big push will come from people that have been waiting and waiting to finally buy their primary residence, and they're the ones that will wait for the interest rates to drop. And when the interest rates drop, because they're like, oh, I'm going to live here for the next 50 years, I'm going to put a 30-year mortgage and actually plan to pay it for 30 years. They're the ones that when the interest rates drop, they're the ones that are popping up. And that's why we're seeing some multiple offer scenarios, right? Because interest rates came down a little bit. It's going to be enough for people out there to say, all right, this is all of a sudden it's now affordable. They're not looking for there's so many people that want to buy their primary residence, want to buy their home. And as soon as the interest rate is just low enough, they don't have to get slammed down, just low enough for that primary residence buyer to say, you know what? Okay, maybe this is enough for me to jump in. They're going to jump in. There's going to be multiple bids. And as that demand starts to be realized and the supply starts to continue to be a little bit constricted, what's going to happen is prices are going to go up. And so when we say there is a literal cost, a literal expense to doing nothing, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we received an email this morning, some feedback from one of the attendees at the event. And I really appreciated him saying this. It's like, hey, it's good to do business for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons he said is to be doing business with people who are actually doing what they say I should be doing. Yeah. And Kev, over the last 2 years, while interest rates have been higher, you and I have purchased more homes than we ever have before 100%. in that 2 year period of time. And I feel like I've been yelling at the top of my voice, telling people it's like right now is the time. Like even though interest rates are just a little bit higher, I put together a 5-minute video with a case study describing why this was an opportunity. And so I appreciated that comment, but I just want to reiterate, like, we're not just saying this. It's like we have been taking advantage of the higher interest rates.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the ways we've been taking advantage of the higher interest rates is with something else that we announced at the intensive for the first time sort of publicly, which is, look, we've been talking for a long time on this podcast about hitting real estate singles, and we will never stop. But we've also said that there may be times when you maybe want to get a double, right? And so Moneyball real estate is in full effect. We are hitting singles every single day. But as the years have kind of progressed, Steve and I have been looking at something for years that we thought could be an opportunity, might be a little bit higher risk because it could be a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit of a different strategy, but still not a super risky strategy. It is not swinging for the fences. It is not go big or go home. It is just a little bit of a metamorphosis of an existing strategy for a particular product in a certain type of market that is kind of an opportunity right now. And a few of our clients have been doing these. You and I have purchased these. This has been a long time coming. It's been a ton of research. And Steve, you really hunkered down and figured something out that is absolutely brilliant with one of our suppliers. And it's a kind of a newer product that this is the first time we've ever talked about it on the podcast. It's not in Micro Wins to Millions because it's not a part of that book. Likelihood is that we'll probably do another book on this strategy, in the near future. But this is something that has been working incredibly well for you and I, and for a number of our clients. And so let's just touch on it. Maybe we can do another episode and go a little bit deeper. But let's talk about what does it look like to maybe hit a double even in this environment.
Yeah, so in this podcast, we'll just kind of scratch the surface on this. So we have long-term rentals, which have been phenomenal. We've been doing that for 15 plus years. A long-term rental is a property that you're going to rent out for, at least a minimum of 1 year at a time. And everybody knows what our typical property is: 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and it's a single family home in a good neighborhood, and all the other criteria that I won't jump into. We've been doing it for a long time, and it works phenomenally well. A few years ago, we started looking into like short-term rentals, meaning like, Airbnbs and that kind of a thing, whether that might be something that could work for our clients. After extensive research, you and I traveled to some different areas to meet some people and to look into it. We decided that that for the Moneyball real estate system, it didn't quite work for a number of reasons. And because we're principal based, even though we knew that we could go out, we could probably sell a gazillion of these, we're like, it doesn't fit our model. It doesn't fit the type of investment property that we know is like the type of property that we want to help our clients get into. There's too much risk, too much volatility, too much different thing, too much time requirement, and so on. And so we kind of shelved that product as something that we might be able to offer to our clients. But that led us to looking into other opportunities, led us into meeting some great individuals who, through them, we discovered this strategy, and we coined a term.
Yeah.
And the term that we coined is midterm rental. You're not going to hear that term anywhere else other than here at DFY. But essentially, what it is it's in between a short-term Airbnb type rental and a long-term rental, where our clients they're able to rent these properties out for anywhere from a few months to up to maybe a year on the long term, but usually it's less than. So it's typically the average is closer to 3 to 6 months. And these homes, they still fit in our box. They're 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 car garage. They're just a little bit nicer, have nicer features, a little bit more custom, but they're still in that price range where we buy them anyways, of $300,000 to $350,000, whereas our long terms are $250,000 to $300,000 typically. And what these are is, and we won't get into the details, but we rent them to companies who have people stay in them. And we've been doing this for over 2 years now through this experience. And between the properties that we've purchased and our clients have purchased, I think we're approaching 40, 50 homes now. And so we have a pretty good track record. And we wanted to we've done our due diligence now. Yeah. Not only the property, the type of property and this type of strategy itself, but the partner who we are working with. We've had enough time under our belt now. And you know what? In real estate is messy. And you really find the worth of a partner and an individual who you're working with to help you when you have problems. And of course, in any real estate, different challenges that have come up. And to see our partner in the way that they have dealt with and handled and moved forward to make sure that these issues were handled properly, I've been blown away. They are cut from the same cloth as DFY, where they are in this for the long term. They're in it for the customer and for their experience, because we want our clients to have a good experience where they want to come back and do it again. And we've been able to, over the course of the last 2 years, we've been able to really hone in our expectations that we set out to make sure that we don't oversell, but that we can undersell and over-deliver. It's the exact same thing there. So to get more details, we're not going to provide those details now, but it was so exciting to introduce this strategy to the room that was there. 80% of them had never heard of it before. Right. There were 20% of our clients who had heard of them because we had introduced it to a handful of them. Yeah. And so it was pretty awesome to like literally see their eyeballs and the gasps as they saw like the opportunity, that was in front of them.
Well, and while we won't get into many details right now, we'll do it on a future episode. Let me just say this. It is a slightly more expensive product, but it also has a pretty solid potential cash flow opportunity right now. And while cash flow isn't the end all be all of real estate, it's one of the profit centers. It is something that we know that those of you listening and that our clients, it is something that you consider. And this is an opportunity to create maybe some additional cash flow than like a long-term rental, but it also, you take on a little bit more risk with the way this type of property and this type of product works. Although it's not, I wouldn't call it risky, but it's a little bit of a different product.
That's so we kind of call it a double, right?
That's
You're hitting a double. It's a little bit more money, slightly more risk. It's a different strategy. And it's pretty cool from that standpoint. So it fits nicely into our model of, what makes a purchase-worthy property.
And we know that real estate always provides rewards, but a double, little bit more risky. You're swinging a little harder. You have to round first and go to second. There's a little bit more on the line, but there's a little greater reward overall. Like, this is a type of property that still contains all of the rewards that a long-term rental does, but there's one aspect, namely cash flow that may potentially give a little bit more reward. And so that's kind of cool. And so we will talk more about it, but I think you're right. The response from everybody was awesome. It was great to be able to introduce that and to be able to introduce the team that's running it. That's one of the other things that I love doing about the intensive that we will continue to do, which is talk to our market teams and so that you can hear from the people that are out there in the markets doing the thing, both on the property management side, on the actual purchase transaction side, as well as our internal team. It's just so great to be able to.
And Kev, we recorded the whole intensive, and it's already available. Justin did a fantastic job getting that ready, making it available almost immediately following the intensive. And if people are interested in watching the whole thing, or you want to watch certain segments, you want to learn more about the MTRs, the midterm rentals, we can get you that link if you request it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, for sure. And we do have it up on a website. And so if you are interested in seeing the replays and you did not get a chance to check them out, let us know. Drop in the comments on YouTube, or feel free to send me an email, kevin@dfy-realestate.com, and we will make it happen. Now, here's the other thing we need you to know is this was not the first and only intensive. We've got another one coming up in a couple months. It's going to be November 8th and 9th here at the office, and it's going to be awesome. And I will tell you, I feel that at this intensive, we absolutely made it rain, both metaphorically and literally. And so just so everybody knows, it was the part of the reason why we ended up doing it in our main office is there was the great storm of 2024 that rolled through Orem, Utah last week with insane hail, like practically golf ball size hail in some areas. And what ended up happening is it flooded. We are on the second floor. It flooded the basement of our building, which is where we were going to do the event. We moved it up to the second floor, but the second floor is closer to the ceiling, and the ceiling had all kinds of hail damage. We didn't know about it. So during the event, we had about 30 leaks coming from the ceiling. It wasn't just us. It was all of the offices around here. And so, we got to make it rain, both literally and metaphorically, right?
It was pretty awesome. The rain started coming down, and when you can hear rain on your roof?
Yeah.
And you just kind of get that calming feeling. It's like you're inside and you're dry and it's storming outside. And then like drips started coming through the tile ceiling. And like in one place, we're like, whoa, that's kind of weird. We went and got a bucket and we put it underneath it. And then another spot, like we had like 30 trash cans that we
ran out of trash cans. Yeah. It felt like one of those cartoons where like, I don't know, Bugs Bunny or something's in a boat and it springs a leak and he puts his finger in it. And then on the other side of the boat, he has to put his toe in it. And then, he's using whatever he can because it just that's what it felt like. It was crazy. And, but now thankfully, the office feels like the rainforest. And so that's nice. It's really good. No, it was an awesome event. We are so excited that the event culture is back. And for those of you that have yet to do real estate, have not been able to do real estate, that don't have money to go and buy your property, this is now a community of events that you can come to regularly, quarterly, where you can come, engage the content, be with the team, learn this stuff, and prepare through a very specific game plan design to go do your next or your first property. And that's what these events are really going to be great for. If you've yet to do real estate, if you've done real estate, this event, all of these events will help you accelerate your portfolio, continue to design and change potentially your game plan to move towards the economic independence that everybody really is seeking.
One of the last takeaways that I'd like to just suggest that we review real quickly is we kind of shared with our customers. We've had like a client referral program for years, but we've never really promoted it.
Yeah.
We've been pretty casual about it. We still are pretty casual about it. But what's really interesting is 75% of our business every month comes from repeat customers and from referrals from our customers. And we shared that with the group. Like they were blown away. It's like, really? Because we have a pretty good marketing arm as well. And people see some of that stuff. But they were kind of blown away that was the case. And I mean, we've been doing this long enough and we have enough customers who have just had tremendous experiences that they just kind of naturally, without even knowing that the program exists, they refer, people to us. And when they get like a thank you check in the mail or whatever, that's kind of a nice thing. And so we've set the program up to where, just for any real estate agents out there who might be hearing this, like we don't pay based on transaction. We pay based on a referral, whether they transact or not. And so that's an important part of the program in order to stay compliant in the real estate world. And so, that was one of the things that we received another email this morning saying, hey, thanks for sharing that program with us. It's like, I am like on board. I'm so excited. I've already shared it with 2 people. And they're not necessarily doing it just because there's a referral program, but because they're excited about what we're doing. But just to kind of get it out there that we have a very robust referral program. And that's another thing that if you want more information about, you can email Kevin and he can provide you with those details. And so that was one of my takeaways as well, was that our clients just really don't know about it because we haven't promoted it. But we want people to know that exists. And we're in process of creating a super simple way of being able to refer people where it's like, hey, you'll be able to send them a super simple link that will have like a DFY webinar included, in that with that link, where if you're not sure exactly how to share it, you can ask for this link. We can send it to you. And there's like a 60-minute webinar that Kevin put together that's just phenomenal that will explain things so you don't have to figure it out yourself, how to do it. So the goal is to just make that as simple and easy as possible.
Well, within the next couple months, micro instruments will be widely available. So it was kind of like a pre-release party. It was not a launch. We have not launched yet, but I'll tell you what, one of the simplest ways to refer something you love to somebody else is to hand something physical to them. And the book will allow anybody out there to be able to say, hey, just take a look at this book and see if you think these guys are crazy or not. You ought to check them out. And we are always so appreciative of that. And we're also appreciative of reviews. And if you've not gone and reviewed the Replace Your Income podcast, that would be awesome. It's been a long time since we mentioned that. It'll take you just a minute or two. But if you could go leave us a 5-star review, that would be great. We really appreciate that. It helps the podcast. It helps us grow. And if you are not currently subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is now a video podcast as well as just an audio podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Done For You Real Estate, and you'll be able to watch this video podcast or you can listen to it. But we just appreciate everybody out there. It was so good to be with everybody. Thank you for being a part of this family. We are so excited to continue to let you know how you can be a part of this family. These events are not stopping. Check your inbox, watch your emails from Kevin at DFY-realestate.com. We are going to constantly be sharing with you when the next event's going to be, how you can attend, where it's going to be, what we're going to be covering, and we really want to make this a big piece of the DFY culture so we can connect, so we can be with you, and so we can all take strides together because this world needs us as investors, as real estate revolutionaries, as people who are going to change our financial stars. We have to gather together because the vast majority of Americans are not going to do it. It may be up to us to be the ones that can save the republic in more ways than one. And I know that when we gather together, we have more strength to do just that. So thank you everybody for joining. We hope that this was beneficial, that you enjoyed the recap of the intensive. Let me know if you want the replays. Go leave a review, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and keep watching your inbox. We have so much more coming your way. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care.